I shouldn't have looked behind me. Has this ever happened to you? You're walking somewhere, anywhere, and out of nowhere you get that sensation, that prickling, crawling feeling that someone is watching you. You turn, expecting to see a person, an animal, a car, anything, but there's nothing. Just empty space and your own heartbeat thudding in your ears. Most people shrug it off. Most people keep walking. Most people get home safe and sound. Well, this story isn't like that. I shouldn't have looked behind me.
It was late November, just days before Thanksgiving, and I was visiting my family for the holiday weekend. I had arrived at my parents' house on Tuesday. The rest of the family was trickling in from all over the United States, one a day, sometimes two. By Wednesday night, the place looked like an overbooked motel. 10 people. 3 bedrooms and a den that had been converted into a guest room. 1 bathroom. And enough noise to make a person lose their mind. I lived alone and loved it. I was the middle child and always preferred my own company. Silence never bothered me. Crowds always had. So, after pretending to be thrilled by hugs, casseroles, football chatter, and toddlers running full speed through the hallway, I slipped on my coat and headed for the woods behind the house. Those woods were my real childhood home, my hiding place from the noise. I knew every tree root, every ditch, every patch of thorn bush. Blackberries grew wild there in summer, sweeter than anything from a store. There was one hidden place deep inside the bramble where I used to crawl in and disappear for hours. It was my secret hollow, barely visible unless you knew where to look. Thick blackberry vines formed walls around it. Inside was a patch of soft grass, just big enough for a kid to curl up with a book. As I grew older, I widened it, bent branches back, broke thorn canes, flattened the earth. From inside that little nest, no one could see me, but I could see everything. When life in the house got too loud, too sharp, too much, I would go there. Now, years later, I wanted to see it again. The sun was sinking fast, turning the woods gray-blue. Cold air slipped between the trees, causing the leaves to tremble on the branches. Dried leaves crackled under my boots as I increased my pace. I followed the old route automatically, past the leaning oak, across the shallow ditch, left at the split cedar, then 30 paces to the blackberry wall. Only, it wasn't there. I frowned and kept walking. I realized after a while that I had gone too far. I doubled back. Nothing. I tried another angle. Still nothing. That made no sense. Even if the brush had grown wild again, I should have recognized the spot. I had walked this path so many times as a child that I could have done it blindfolded. But now I was circling like a fool. The last of the daylight bled away. I stopped and turned 360, looking around me. I thought, maybe I'd passed it. Maybe the woods had changed more than I realized. That's when it hit me. That feeling, sudden, heavy, absolute. I was being watched. The hairs on the back of my neck rose so sharply it hurt. Cold sweat rolled down my forehead, into my eyes and to my cheeks, despite the freezing air. My mouth went dry. My bladder weakened. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But I couldn't move. My legs felt rooted to the ground. I knew I could move. I just didn't dare. My breathing turned shallow and quick as I slowly twisted only the upper half of my body to look around me. And what I saw made me scream like a banshee. Standing 15 feet behind me was me. Not someone who looked like me. Not a stranger wearing similar clothes. Me. Same coat, same boots, same face. But wrong. So wrong. The other me's skin looked stretched too tight over the bones. Its smile was too wide. Its eyes were black and wet, like holes filled with oil. And it was standing perfectly still, watching me. The scream ripped out of me before I knew it was coming. The thing's smile widened. Then it copied my scream, perfectly. Same pitch, same voice, same terror. I stumbled backward and nearly fell over the root of a tree that had risen to the surface. The thing stepped forward. One step. I stepped back. It stepped forward again. Then I ran. Branches whipped past my face. Thorns tore at my sleeves as if trying to hold me back. I crashed through the brush like an animal. Behind me, I heard footsteps matching mine exactly. If I sped up, they sped up. If I stumbled, they stumbled. I risked one glance over my shoulder. It was running with my body, my face, its grin bouncing horribly with each stride. I screamed again. So did it. I burst from the tree line into my parents' backyard, slammed through the gate, and nearly tackled my younger brother, who was carrying a tray of deviled eggs. He scrabbled to keep it from falling and barely managed to hold on to it. "What the hell?" he shouted. I turned instantly toward the woods. Nothing. No movement, no figure, only darkness between the trees. My family poured onto the porch. Mom asked what happened. I opened my mouth, then closed it. What was I supposed to say? There's another me in the woods? So I lied. "Tripped," I said. "Thought I saw a coyote." They laughed. Everyone except my father. He was staring at the woods. His face had gone pale. Later that night, after everyone went to bed, Dad knocked softly on the guest room door. Before I could answer, he opened it a crack and pushed his head in. "Can I come in?" I nodded. He sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his hands together. He was obviously nervous, unsure what to say. "You said you saw a coyote." "Yeah," I answered, straightening up on the blow-up bed. "No, you didn't," he said, as he turned to look deep into my eyes. He looked older than I remembered, tired. "I saw something out there when I was your age," he said quietly. My stomach dropped. "What?" I said, leaning in as if we were sharing a secret, my heart hammering in my chest. He took a long breath and turned away, looking straight ahead as if seeing something I couldn't. Me. I felt every hair rise again. He nodded before I could speak. Same face, same clothes, standing in the trees. I couldn't talk. My heartbeat sped up. I ran home screaming. My father told me never to go back there after dark. "Why didn't you ever tell us?" "Because I hoped it was madness." He looked toward the window. "But your grandfather saw one too." I stared. "Not himself," Dad said. "He saw his brother. Only his brother had been dead 3 years." The room suddenly felt too small. "What is it?" Dad swallowed. "I don't know, but I know one thing." He looked straight at me. "It wants to be seen." I barely slept that night. Every creak of the house made me sit upright. Every shifting shadow near the closet door made my pulse hammer. At 3:17 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, measured, coming toward my door. I whispered, "Dad?" No answer. The footsteps stopped outside. The floorboards creaked. Then 3 soft knocks. I got up shakily and walked over to the door. I slowly opened it. But no one was there. The hallway was empty. But at the far end, beside the bathroom, someone stood facing the wall, wearing my coat. I froze. It slowly turned its head toward me. Black eyes, wide grin. Then it turned to the half-open door of my niece's bedroom, stepped inside, and closed the door. I lunged forward. By the time I threw it open, the room was empty except for my sleeping niece. I searched under the bed, in the closet, behind the curtains. Nothing. But my niece stirred in her sleep and whispered, "Why do you look mad?" Scared and frustrated, not finding anything or anyone, I left and went back to my room. Morning came with chaos. My niece wouldn't stop crying. She said someone sat beside her bed all night, smiling. Everyone assumed it was a nightmare. I didn't. Neither did Dad. He caught my eye across breakfast and said quietly, "We end this today." That afternoon, while the rest of the family shopped for groceries, Dad and I went back into the woods. Daylight made everything seem ridiculous. Birds chirped, wind moved the branches. No monsters, no doubles. Still, my stomach churned as we walked. Dad led me farther than I'd gone the night before. "To where the old hollow should be," he said. And there it was, my childhood hiding place. Only it was wrong. The blackberry walls had grown into a near-perfect circle. Inside, the grass was dead, black. In the center sat an old wooden chair. I had never seen that chair before. Dad whispered, "That wasn't here when I was young." Nailed to the chair was a cracked hand mirror. I walked over to it and pried it off. My reflection stared back from it, then smiled. I dropped it instantly. It fell on the chair. But my real mouth had not moved. Dad grabbed my arm. "Don't look at it." The mirror began to shake against the chair. Then from all around us came movement in the brush. Footsteps. Many footsteps. Circling. Closing in. Dad dragged me backward. Shapes moved between the vines. Faces. Some ours. Some strangers. Some were not human at all. All smiling. That was enough for us, so we ran. We made it out, gasping and bleeding from thorns. Dad locked every door in the house before anyone returned. That night, he gathered the family in the living room. He told them we were leaving for a hotel. No arguments, no explanations. People complained until, from the hallway mirror, a voice said, Don't go. My voice. Everyone heard it. My mother screamed. The mirror cracked from top to bottom, and in each broken shard, I was standing there, smiling. We left within minutes. No one stayed behind. Dad sold the house 3 months later. The buyers tore it down and built a new one. For a while, nothing happened. Then last Thanksgiving, my younger brother called me. His voice was shaking. The new owners were associates of his and had sent him footage from their security cameras. They had put up security cameras around the new property after tools kept disappearing. At 2:13 a.m., one camera caught movement near the tree line. He sent me that footage. I wish he hadn't. A person stepped from the woods, wearing my face. It walked to the camera and leaned close. Its black eyes filled the screen. Its smile widened. Then it whispered, "Tell them to come home." I never went back. None of us did. But every November, right before Thanksgiving, I get that feeling again. That sudden certainty. That pressure between the shoulder blades. That ancient instinct screaming, "You are being watched." And every year, it gets closer. Last night, while taking out the trash, I felt it stronger than ever. I told myself not to look. I told myself to walk inside. I told myself I had learned my lesson. But fear makes fools of us all. So I looked behind me. And standing at the end of the driveway wasn't one of me. It was 10.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.